Welcome. Thank you for choosing to listen to another word-filled message by David Antwi. Preaching is the means by which God manifests His word and nourishes our spirits. May the life of God enter into you and you as you listen to this message. Be blessed.
There was somebody in the Bible in 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 27. 1 Samuel chapter, he said, "For this child I prayed, and the Lord has given me my petition which I asked of him." Hannah brought a whole human being to church, and she said, "This is my testimony." And she marked the date of that prayer so she could link the prayer, the testimony to the prayer. She knew where the testimony came from. She knew. That's why Bishop Oyedepo said, if I didn't succeed, I would have been disappointed. I would have been surprised. I'm not surprised I've succeeded because I know when I was doing what I was doing, I know this way is going to take me. You know, that's why I always want to take my time and teach people to know that God has precepts. His word is called His precepts, principles, systems, ordinances. If you engage yourself in it and practice it, you just get the benefit. The Bible says that the profit of the earth is for all. The profit, I think in Ecclesiastes also, the profit of the earth is for all. So then, 5:9, the profit of the earth for the king himself is served by the field. The profit of the earth. So even the pastor is served by what you can also benefit from. Because it's not like something esoteric, something exclusive for you to be a pastor to be able to have access to certain dimensions of God. No, the profit of the earth is for all. Even the pastor, the bishop, the archbishop, even the king is served by the earth. So that what it means is that what makes my prayers get answered is also available to you. What makes me begin to enjoy certain things in the Lord is also available to you. If you can practice, someone came to Bishop Oyedepo years ago and he says that, "Sir," he said, the Kharis, the pastor, said, "Can you show me the secret of your prosperity?" Because Bishop Oyedepo's prosperity, you can tell it's not normal. No, it's not normal. You can't put a system in place to get that kind of thing. There must be something else behind it. That's why they told him he's using voodoo power. He said, no, what I'm using is stronger than voodoo. It's covenant. I'm using covenant. A unique relationship with God which demands certain practices, and I engage in, and I'm seeing the results. So they went to Oyedepo, "Can you show us the secret of your prosperity?" He said, "If I tell you, you will not like it." He said, "No, you are not ready to do it. If I tell you, you won't like it." He said, "No, tell me how to do it." And he just asked, "Does your church, you are a pastor, does your church tithe? Do you tithe, and does your church tithe?" The guy said, "Oh, yeah." He says, "I told you, you won't like it." He said, "The secret of my prosperity is tithing." Tithing. You want this kind of prosperity with this your kind of inconstant and tithing system that is not provoked by extreme obedience. So the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field. So Hannah came and said that, "I know how I got my testimony. I know how I got my testimony." How did I get my testimony? He said, "I came to the temple and I prayed. I prayed for this child. I prayed. And the Lord has answered my petition." He said, "I know it." So if she wanted another child, what would she do? She would go there. Because she knew how to get it done. You must know how to practice certain covenants that make things happen for you. Worldly people are usually quite smart. And at the end, they become quite stupid. Because the door that God opens for them, their smartness make them miss the door. Because God's system requires a certain level of obedience. It will cost you. Sometimes it might feel like you are doing things too much. It might feel like you are obeying too much. But if you can obey in confidence and in faith, with time, when the dividends and the manifestations begin to show up, it's so beautiful. I see people's testimonies beginning to show up. So now let's go back quickly to Hannah. And Hannah, so she knew how she got a testimony. Now let's look at the 27 again. 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 27. Verse 26. Okay. Verse 26. And she said, "Oh my Lord, as thy soul liveth, my Lord, I am the woman who stood by thee here, praying unto the Lord." I'm the one. The man didn't even recognize him. He said, "I am the one." You remember, you can't forget, I stood here and I was praying. And then verse 27, this child, that was a prayer topic. Verse 27, for this child I prayed. So I was praying for a child when you thought I was drunk. And the Lord has given me my petition, which I asked him. Who was behind the birth of Samson? It's Samuel. Who made Samuel? Who prayed Samuel into existence? If Hannah had not prayed, would that have happened? Would Samuel have been born? So it was Hannah's prayer when you look at it on the surface. But her prayer was provoked by God because God wanted a Samuel. At that time, Israel, Eli, the Aaronic priesthood, have failed God. Israel was not with proper priests. Things were bad, and God wanted to bring his own priest. And so God's way of bringing his own priest was go to a certain woman who is married looking for a child and went to shut her womb. God shut her womb so that the shut womb, and God went to, don't put it on the screen, I'll come to it. And God went to provoke, to inspire her rival to provoke her. And the provocation was so much that it made her pray what was on God's heart. Verse 2, look at verse 2. Look at verse 5. Let's read from verse 5 to 7. But unto Hannah, that's the husband, he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah. But the Lord, who was behind it? God wanted someone to pray a certain prayer. Hannah expressed the heart of God in that prayer because there was no prophet, no true prophet. And God said, I can't leave Israel without a prophet. I have to bring a prophet on the scene. So he looked and he said, I need a prophet. I need a prophet. He looked and then he managed to package his desire into a woman's heart by shutting her womb. God. And not only the womb, look at the next verse. And her adversary also provoked her sore. Provoke her sore, for she make her fret because the Lord has shut her womb. So you see, two conditions. God has shut it and someone made it even worse. Look at the next verse. Verse 7. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore, she wept and did not eat. That's the beginning of her prayer request. She got to a stage, said, no, something has to be done. Sometimes what the enemy thinks he's doing against you, actually, God is about to use that. How can God use what the enemy is trying to use to hurt you? God will use it to help you when you come to the place of prayer. And the place of prayer will make you... Can you imagine if you are so comfortable? If Hannah has had her own children, she wouldn't have prayed. And when you look at the content of her prayer, that is where verse 10, that is where the secret is. The secret is, and she vowed, a vow and said, "Oh Lord of hosts, if thou will indeed look upon my affliction, the affliction of thy handmaiden, and remember me, and not forget thy handmaiden, but will give unto thy handmaiden a man child, then I will give him." That is God. So it looks like it was Hannah who prayed Samuel into existence, but it was God who motivated that prayer. Don't worry about your worries. Don't worry. It is actually pushing you to the place of birth. If I were you, I'd be clapping for Jesus. Don't worry. Some people, if everything was okay, there's no way they will come here this evening. No. Thank God about that. Thank God for that letter you have, which is really troubling you. Yeah. There are some people, had it not been for cases on their hands, cases ravaging things in their family, they wouldn't be here. By now, they would have still been in their office because their job is good. Yeah. Their job is good. They work long hours for bonuses. Yeah. God wanted a certain woman of God for a certain man of God. God wanted a certain Christian sister for a certain Christian brother. God wanted a certain Christian brother for a certain Christian sister, who, based on where she's coming from or where he's coming from, when they marry, they will make God a priority and they will do the work of ministry. So God shut for many months and years your potential of anyone saying, hello girl, your hair is not, no one is coming. And then it pushed you. When we were praying, said, God, if you can just give me a husband, I will let him be a man of God. That's it. You're now talking. God said, talk, girl. I've been waiting for you to get here. Now talk. God, if you give me a wife, I will make sure she'll be a woman of God. God said, talk. So the prayer of desperation, as long as it's not against the will of God, it's likely God is going to use it for his glory and for your promotion. That is why whatever state you are in, don't ever come to a place where you don't pray. Because you've been talking to people. If the doctors have not said we can't do anything about it, you won't come and pray. You come and pray. If you are here, you have a medical condition, come. You won't come. Because doctors have sorted everything out. Your specialist is very good. Yeah. Bishop Edebo said something some time ago. He said, many of us nowadays, every day, my doctor said. So now you are not considering the altar. My doctor said, this one is just a coffee to go. My doctor said, that's okay. My doctor said it's just a cough. My doctor said, so you are not exercising your faith. You are not stepping out in faith because my doctor said. Is it wrong for the doctor to say no? But it is dangerous to put your confidence in what the doctor is saying. Your confidence must be in God. Well, there's a good place to clap for the Lord. I told you this is a prayer topic. Whatever is pushing you to the edge, like the way Kharis, we are being pushed. Sometimes these caretakers of schools and buildings, they push us, they push me. God, enough is enough. Yeah. Sometimes you need a penina. You need it to provoke you so you can pray what God wants someone to pray. Because if we don't pray, God can't move. God can move. Samuel was not a result just of purely Hannah's prayer. It was a result of God's agenda. God was manipulating things in there. You didn't see, some of you didn't see, God has shut her womb. God has shut a womb. Verse 5 and verse 6. God has shut a womb, and Peninnah provoked her because God has shut a womb. But she was pushed and said, God, if you can give me a child, I will bring him to you. And he will do only your work all his days. God said, did you say that? When you get home, it's happening. That same month, when they got back home, bam, she took seed. She took seed. This month of June, this prayer you are praying is bringing you that long-awaited testimony. You are catching that long-awaited testimony. In the name of Jesus.
Thank you for listening to this message by David Antwi. To hear more from David Antwi, follow him on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can also subscribe to Kharis Church on YouTube. Don't forget to share and subscribe to our podcast so you're always up to date. Be blessed.